thank you all for attending. Hopefully, the information presented here will be useful to help the households, the families that you are serving, get access to homelessness prevention resources that exist in Westchester County, both federal and local resources. We're going to be talking about a process, coordinated entry, that is accessed by using the comprehensive at-risk of homelessness assessment tool, or the CART. So we're going to cover a short introduction to who we are, the Westchester Continuum of Care Partnership to End Homelessness, and then the details about how the CART is used to access homelessness prevention and, in extreme cases, homelessness resources for the families that you serve. The Westchester Continuum of Care is a network, a group of agencies that serve households experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness. There are about 25 agencies that are on the COC board itself, and then another a few dozen agencies that are COC members. The COC includes Westchester County Departments, DCMH, DSS, Department of Health, Department of Planning. Also, the cities of Yonkers, White Plains, and Mount Vernon are on the COC board. And then, as I said, there are some dozens of nonprofit emergency shelter providers, permanent housing agencies, eviction prevention agencies, and a couple of housing authorities. And we all work together to coordinate and make sure that we best use the resources that are available, both federal, state, and local resources, to serve homeless and at-risk households. Coordinated entry is a process that was mandated by the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development. Every COC used a local process to develop coordinated entry that best meets local conditions. Coordinated entry is the process through which housing resources are accessed. It helps make the process fair because every single household is put onto a single by name list, and then those households are sorted in priority order using a standardized assessment tool that is given to all of the households. And the households are then prioritized both by the assessment score and the length of time homeless, or the length of time until their imminent homelessness, so that the households that have the greatest needs are served first. Households are able to access coordinated entry through a variety of different access points, so that we capture as many different populations as possible. Homeless households that are in emergency shelters are automatically enrolled in coordinated entry, but households that are at risk of homelessness can access coordinated entry by showing up at the 4 DSS district offices, or they can show up at eviction prevention agency offices. We've also trained library staff and soup kitchen staff to fill out the CART and forward that information to coordinated entry. And hopefully we will have a robust pipeline coming from school liaisons as a result of this training, to also offer those resources through coordinated entry to the households that you serve. Are there any questions so far about any of the about COC or coordinated entry? Okay, So the homelessness prevention resources that the COC and coordinated entry offers can be used to prevent individuals that are imminently homeless, at risk of homeless, from becoming homeless. So these resources are not targeted to households that have already become homeless and are living in shelters, but as we'll discuss, they are households that may soon become homeless. And they can either help a household regain stability in their current housing or move to new housing, new permanent housing. The actual funding can be used for rental arrears, up to 6 months back rent from ESG, and then usually 6 more months from local non-federal sources. Ongoing rental assistance can pay up to 24 months of at least a partial rental subsidy. That can be in a household's current apartment, or they can be moved to a new, more affordable apartment and be given a rental assistance. And then financial assistance such as security deposits, utility arrears, moving costs, and also legal services provided by Legal Services of the Hudson Valley is also funded with homelessness prevention dollars. Homelessness prevention is targeted to the households that are most at risk for homelessness in the near term. And so specifically ESG eligibility requires that the households have income at or below 30% of area median income, or AMI, and then have no way to retain or obtain permanent housing without ESG support, and also to be in one of the 5 categories listed. They're either living doubled up in someone else's residence, living in overcrowded housing at 1.5 person, more than 1.5 persons per room, if they've moved twice in the last 2 months, if they're going to be evicted within the next 3 weeks, or if they are fleeing domestic violence. A lot of those categories, my understanding, dovetails with the McKinney-Vento defined homeless households that you're already serving. So many of the households you're already serving meet this definition, and so are eligible for the homeless prevention resources available through coordinated entry. So there are 4 steps only to starting the coordinated entry process for a at-risk household. We will look at the documents required for each step separately presently, but there are 3 one-page forms, and then those 3 one-page forms should be emailed to coordinated entry, DSS coordinated entry staff at the email DSS-coordinated entry ceprevention@westchestergov.com. So the 3 forms are the CART itself, the Comprehensive At-Risk of Homeless Assessment Tool itself, the one-page homelessness prevention applicant information sheet that provides some more detailed information about the household and what assistance they actually need, and then the an HMIS release form. HMIS stands for Homeless Management Information System, that allows coordinated entry staff to enter the household's information into the database so that they can then be prioritized and referred to housing resources. Right, let's look first at the CART itself. Step 1 in this process is to fill out the CART. Visible now is the CART form. As you can see, it is just 1 page, with about a dozen questions. As noted, this is a tool for use for people that are at risk of homelessness, that are either living doubled up or are facing eviction, and not for people who are already in shelter. Those people are entered into coordinated entry by the shelter and assessed in a different manner. This form asks for the participant's name and date of birth, and then your name, the assessor's name, and agency. And then there are a dozen questions. Many of them are yes, no, or just ask for a number of the household's income or how much debt they have. As noted in the instructions, it is okay. You should skip any question that you don't know the answer, that the participant that you're interviewing doesn't want to answer or doesn't have an answer. More information is better. Their prioritization score is likely to be higher the more information they provide. So it helps if they are willing to provide more information or if they have more information on hand. But please submit the form even with blanks if needed. The questions are these are risk factors for homelessness. They are about, they concern how much income a client has, if they have evictions in the past, moves in the past, if they are going to be evicted soon, and if they have any disabled, if they have children in the household, any criminal history, all of which are risk factors for homelessness. Are there any questions about the CART, completing the CART? Okay. Step 2 then is to complete a companion form called the Homelessness Prevention Applicant Information Sheet. This gives us specific information, the name, date of birth, gender of all household members. That is, the name, date of birth, and gender is the minimum amount of information we need to create a record in the HMIS database. So we ask for the name, date of birth, and gender for the head of household, and then the spouse and, if any, and children in the household. And then there is a choice of what factor makes them eligible for the homelessness prevention assistance. Are they pending eviction? Are they doubled up, living in another household residence? Are they overcrowded? 1.5 plus persons per room? Have they moved 2 or more times in the last 2 months? Or are they fleeing DV? And then a confirmation that the household's income is below the 30% AMI threshold for ESG, 50% AMI for some other funding sources. And then finally, a chance to indicate what specific assistance is required by the household. Do they need rental arrears? Do they need rental assistance, either to stay in current housing or move to a new, more appropriate housing, or other financial assistance? Again, the more information that is provided on the homeless prevention applicant information sheet, the more likely it is that, and the faster it is that a household will be processed through coordinated entry and receive assistance. Are there any questions about the homelessness prevention applicant information sheet? Okay. The third and last form that is we're asking you to fill out to refer clients to coordinated entry is the HMIS release of information. This just asks for where the release is coming from, so the name of your school or your school district, and then the client's name, client signature, your name and signature. If they're the first client name is the head of should be the head of household, and then there is space on a second page to list any other family members' name. And this again is a release to allow us to enter the client's name, date of birth, and gender into HMIS to get the coordinated entry process started. We're also providing you with a summary of these instructions. This is a summary of what I've been saying. You don't have to provide this to the client. This is these description of these steps. Complete the cart. Complete the complete the applicant information sheet, the HMIS release, and then forward that to the DSS coordinated entry prevention mailbox. All of these forms are available to you in the chat window. If you scroll up through the chat, I uploaded into the Zoom application chat all of these forms, both in English and Spanish, so that you can, for households that are primarily Spanish speaking, you can conduct the CART assessment and gather the applicant information sheet information using a Spanish form where needed. Are there any questions about any of the steps in this process? The CART, the information sheet, the HMIS release, or where to forward those forms once they're completed? You'll need to scroll up to see the forms. Their images are there. You just click on the form image to download it. If you put your email into the chat, we'll also send these forms via email if that's easier for you.